brought the tally stick to the corporation that runs this, here they are praising the man who has paid them for 60 years, every month, most of his salary. Yeah. Now they're building new houses here to put more prisoners in there who will pay most of their salary to them. But we gave them a tally stick and said, now this house is ours. I haven't received the tally stick back, so the house is ours. But they still haven't settled it. And they still are threatening people every month that they'll throw them out if they don't pay them next month. And people go to jobs every day to be able to please these terrorists that have become the systemic occupiers committing terror within law. But through tally sticks, we take back our resources. Because how it has happened, it is that everything has been turned into corporations, privatized and corporatized. And how did they do that? They did that by promising us that we have a state. They promised us to become a member of a state through citizenship. They promised that to our parents when we were born. And so it goes on, this fraud, because the states have been dismantled. States now are just companies. They have been taken over by corporations that are not states at all. So the method to re-establish indigenous world order is actually also the method of re-establishing the states. Our states, the states of citizens. Because we are stakeholders in those states, you know. If you have a birth certificate or if you have a passport, that is your stakeholder proof in the state. Because that's what they promised you when they gave you those documents. Even if they fooled you and in the end put you into a company or corporation, that is a fraud. There still is this state that you went into in your belief. And that is what we are restoring through the constitutions of each country, where in most of the constitutions, what do they say? That they usually say that the power derives from the people. And that is the line that we hold on to. And what people have hard to understand is that for us to regain our property and rights, we have to do the job. We can't just keep going to these jobs that the corporations have created to establish their plan. And how do we stop that? First of all, you have to know, I'm an economist. I have a master's degree in economy. And vad är det? När vi är ingen now, ja?
Money.
Yeah. Okay, and you have to understand that the level of which people have been fooled is astronomical. Astronomical. Already 100 years ago, there was a genius in economics. My Latvian landsmate, his name is Kārlis Balodis, who created a rationing system for wars and saved millions and millions of people through coupons. And he even discovered coupons that redistributed basic resources so people didn't die in the cities for citizens and even other. But he discovered, furthermore, by just statistical mathematics, that if resources were redistributed through these rationing systems, people wouldn't have to work more than a couple of years in their 100-year-long time. 100 years ago, 1915 it was, through Roman calendar. Huh? Can you imagine? So imagine how much do we have to work if we would manage the resources appropriately. We have had unbelievable industrialization. Communication systems have gone ballistic. Computers. Everything just happens in a moment now. So if we would establish a loving, economical redistribution of resources to all the needed, people would have to work probably 2 hours a month. People wouldn't be so sick either. You wouldn't need so many doctors. You wouldn't need all these unemployment administrators who terrorize people around to look for jobs in the death cult society. You wouldn't need war industry. You wouldn't need all sorts of terrible jobs that right now are in place. You wouldn't even need courts, probably, not in this amount. Yeah, you wouldn't need them actually, because courts as such are also a disease, because no professionals should take decisions overhead of other people. This should be a common court when you need it. Your surrounding people who know you and love you, they can come together and solve all of the problems if you restore the Commonwealth societies. The family and tribal system. All sorts of tribes, not only ethnogenetical tribes, but also professional tribes and social tribes, geographical tribes. So how do we get there? So we do have to take responsibilities, and we have to do the work to get there. Nobody else will do it. We have to start living in another system that starts by my choice. So when I started to choose to live in another system, I just decided that I will not work in the corporate work market, and I stopped doing that. So I have been working in balance with my heart consciousness now for approximately 10 years. Sometimes I've been employed by radiation risk networks, but in the last years Pentagon has dried them out. So I have been on unemployment, or I have been on social security. And they are lovely, because that is how the free society starts. It starts with citizen salary. Everybody gets citizen salary, and that's how the freedom starts. And don't be afraid or uncomfortable to take that step, even if it feels humiliating. There is no other way to stop being a slave of death cult work market. Because we by no means should work 40 hours a week, as now it's most of the people are working in the world. Others are working 60 hours a week. And what they have done to Chinese in China, it's just incredible. It's just horrifying. Horrifying how people are enslaved. So Carlis Balua, he had this discovery of how little we have to work. But right now, all these resources are being centralized into share market system and profits that go to very few, so few that you can say that they are being erased. Because those people that get them, they don't need them even. They can't by any means have any value of them because it's too much that's going up in the chimney. Because we need very little. People don't need much. And as soon as we redistribute it, the fertility era begins. And we really need it because the environment is so polluted now that fertility is very damaged and destroyed in many areas even. And it is being destroyed through vaccines too. So we need to get back to fertility era. So you can start living in this Godland just by claiming that you live in Godland now. And what would that mean? That means that you are protected by declarations that Baltic Sea indigenous courts have taken that have criminalized nuclear war systems. And you create your own local indigenous tally stick bank, and you create communication with people around you and create some kind of cooperative that starts redistribution of basic resources. You can use rationing models because all basic commodities should be... Hej?
Du behöver en kabel där inne. Går det?
Jag är mitt i sändningen.
Okej, ja, det blir...
Kan du göra det senare?
Absolut.
So it is actually the key issue here, because it is about redistribution of resources. That's where the war stops, and that's where we get into that Godland. It is about our rights to have those resources, both as citizens and as indigenous people. And through the fact that they have engaged us in war now, we claim our rights to rationing. Because what they did in First and Second World War, they had coupons. They had coupon books, and you got the basic needs covered. You didn't have to leave your home or country to survive. You had coupons. That's what state does if it still exists. If it's not replaced with these corporations that just say, oh, you haven't paid, out of your home. They just come and throw you out. Even you may be sort of the most knowledgeable person who is preparing a court case to stop atomic bombs, who is invited as top expert to stop nuclear waste repositories, like I am. No, they will come and throw you out of your house because you are late with some inky-winky payment. And they will not consider that they have fooled you and left you without your own banks, your state banks, without your own citizen salary, without your own protection insurance companies, without indigenous networks, without indigenous churches, without indigenous schools. They have left you without all of that, and you have no structures or systems to live within those. You even don't have any more copper wires for telephone lines that are secure if they switch off electricity. They have taken all of that away, so you would peacefully and politely die off when they switch off electricity. So you don't put up with this. You say, just, we are not putting up with this anymore. We are creating our own rationing system, our own resources of living arrangements for mortgages, for housing, that will be safe. Basic food supplies, safe. Basic communication supplies, internet, electricity, safe. All goes into the package. That is what we have right to have as citizens. And furthermore, as indigenous people, we have furthermore rights. And that we do in every place, wherever we live on our beloved Mother Earth. So we create these societies of indigenous people or of citizens, and we establish our own cooperative banks with tally sticks, with coupons, and furthermore we establish our courts. We take back the judgment, the law, the decision-making instrument through common law courts. It's how they took back power in South Africa. That's how they stopped apartheid. That's how we stop New World Order now. That's how we stop the terrorism through Roman Reich courts, the terrorism through all these religions that are just mafia corporations who fool us and make people psychiatrically unwell. That's how we get back into the realm of gods, into direct communication with divine systems. And you can see more of this on my web pages and channels that I showed to you in the beginning, but I'll show it once more. But the key to all of this is love. So we have to live in this tone of love all the time. Because this tone of love is the tone of the gods who love us and have given us all these possibilities. And don't give up into any other energy than love all the time. Keep yourselves safe. And I free you of all the dark commitments that you have ever made. And let's feel how we are the divine expression of higher forces, how we are the eyes and lips of the gods, how we are their hands, because they cannot express their order without us expressing it. So they need us as much as we need them. And if we fail to express their loving order, they might erase us as a mad species. As an errored experiment. So please find your loving string, because that is the string of communication with the creators. And stay tuned with them. Don't leave them without your divine spirit, and then they will never fail us. And let's keep the connection with each other through them, and then the gods will connect all the dots, and all the best wishes of our predecessors will become reality for the next generations to come. Let it be so.